This video is about thoughts. We all have them. We all think them. But do your thoughts have you? Some beings claim to have intrusive thoughts. Some beings feel as if they're not in the driver's seat of their head. So how can we resolve the situation one finds oneself in when one's thoughts seem to be in attack mode? And specifically, I'm talking about anxieties and fears and worrisome projections into the future. Why does anybody have such thoughts? Well, when we ignore a vital aspect of ourselves, when we shut down any authentic piece of ourselves, that piece ends up transforming into a nagging, clawing force. We can't truly ignore that which is within. Therefore, if we do, that which we are ignoring, that energy which we are ignoring, flips itself around and haunts. We are haunted by our own disconnection. So any so-called intrusive thought, any thought forms that incessantly instill us with anxiety and fears, worries, what have you, all of this is simply the inner child begging to be noticed and embraced and integrated. What happens when a child is ignored? When a child's ignored, crying ensues. That is the common reaction, rather. Screaming occurs as well, yes. When a child gets upset, that can be quite violent. When we dive into that which we have considered dark within us, we find an innocence. We can't actually ignore our innocent nature and get away with it. We never get away with any bit of that ignorance. We never get away with anything. There's no reason to hide. If it feels painful to confront, well, what do you think hiding is going to achieve? What is the grand outcome of hiding and justifying? Our thought forms that don't feel too good have a weird way of justifying themselves by using this world. Hence, if we are worried about anything, if we're fearful about anything, we can easily use the container of the outer to justify our avoidance of our inner child. What is the inner child? The inner child is the aspect of ourselves that just wants to express and play. The inner child does not calculate its next move, does not try and create any sort of plan. The inner child is the aspect of us which only accepts in the moment brilliance. Because everything in the moment is brilliant. When we're enthralled in the moment, well, everything else goes down the drain, doesn't it? As if it doesn't exist, never existed in the first place. We've all had moments where we embrace our inner child and we just want to wiggle and express and approach life with fresh eyes. So we all know what it's like to shake hands with the innocence we each carry. But for some reason, we have convinced ourselves to ignore that innocence, to bury that innocence, to reason with the innocence to, take a back seat, take a step back. Why would we do this? Fear. Fear. I've said it various times on this channel. I'll say it again. What we have been most afraid of is our expansion. We all know the image of being blinded by some sort of divine light. Ooh, it's too bright. We have all, at one point or another, been intimidated by the idea of our expansion. Why? Because in order to effectively expand, it takes true courage and confrontation to stare at the part of ourselves that has been screaming. And that is painful. Repentance is usually seen as the act by which one begs forgiveness, usually towards an outer force. But true repentance is when one feels the folly of their own self-suffocation. If you realize in any moment that you've been existing in sort of amnesic, sleepy state, avoidant state, then that realization can lead to repentance towards oneself, not towards any judge in the sky. There's no judges in the sky, no matter what you've been told or visualized yourself. So instead of begging God or another force for us to, be better, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, I respect you so much that I am willing to undergo any bit of pain to finally understand that which I've been avoiding. Pain is absolutely unavoidable if we're going to expand, and I've been talking about this quite a bit in recent videos, but the only reason we have ever felt stifled in this process of awakening is because we did not value the moments that are so uncomfortable. There's always a calm after the storm, and a storm doesn't happen for no reason within you. There is an energetic movement to everything within the cosmos, and the movement of energies is not by random. Truly, everything is ordered, as chaotic as it may seem, including within your mind. So, thought forms that seem oh so bad and suffocating, they do not need to be attached to. However, they reflect an imbalance within your energy field. They do. Now, thinking is not truly the bee's knees of cosmic interaction. Intuition, feeling, that is where the true intelligence lies. The true intelligence lies in the feeling, in the intuitive space that does not really think with thoughts. It feels and moves with its own essence. So, if any one of us wishes to embody the divine, we must listen to the inner voices and not the thoughts that seem to tell us otherwise. Do you know the difference between the intuitive voice and the attachment to some kind of mental epitome, which is really just the excrement of the intuition? Does that make sense? Does that? Maybe this is nonsensical. I don't know. I don't care. I don't think. Blink, blink. Hey.